Hello, 8 receiving students and teachers. Thank you. Take your seats. Okay, receiving students and the model class, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And today we will now begin with our science lesson today. I hope you're all ready and looking forward to our activities for today's lesson. Receiving teachers, we are still on the same strand, science in the home, sub-strand, learning about substances and the same outcome. Our lesson topic for today, class, let's read the lesson topic together. Okay, this is part 1 of How Does a Crystal Look Like lesson. We will have another lesson on this same topic. Now, before we go on to the activity, receiving students, please tell your teachers, what do you know about crystals? If you have some ideas, please give your answers or ideas to your teacher. For the model class, let's hear from someone in the class. I know you have seen this word somewhere, you have used that word. You came across this word, crystals. What do you know of crystals? Diane?
Crystals are small substances.
Okay, good. That's what she thinks about crystals. They are small substances. Receiving students, I know you are giving better answers or some good answers on what you think about crystals. Right, anyone else? Can you give me some examples of crystals that you know of? Right, I can hear some of you whispering the examples of some of the crystals that you know of. Livingstone, give us an example and can you describe that crystal that you will tell the class about?
Sugar.
Very good. Can you describe how a sugar crystal look like? Come on, Livingstone. I know everybody has seen sugar crystals, right? Okay, so you should add some ideas on how that sugar crystal look like.
Small in shape and white in color.
Okay, very good. White in color, right? That's what it thinks about sugar crystals, right? Today, we are going to grow crystals using copper sulfate solution and sodium chloride solution. Another word for sodium chloride, what is it? Salt. I know, receiving students and model class, you have heard of this this compound called sodium chloride. Sodium chloride refers to salt. All right, now I have these two solutions here, class and the receiving students. You can see these two small beakers here. Which one contains the copper sulfate solution, class? Okay. Receiving students, you would also agree with the model class that the blue solution contains copper sulfate. And the white one, or the colorless liquid, contains sodium chloride solution, or it is a sodium chloride solution in that beaker and copper sulfate solution. Now, from these two solutions, if you can see it clearly, you can see that I have dissolved some of the copper sulfate, and you can see that some of the copper sulfate solids are still in this crystal, same as the sodium chloride solution. You can see the salt still there. It has settled at the bottom of the beaker. What is this solution called? When you find that no more solute is dissolved in the liquid, What do you call that solution? Receiving students, tell your teacher. Thank you. Let's have our friend at the back.
Soluble substance.
Okay, soluble substances, good try. We have some more hands, that means other students still don't agree with your answer. Thank you for trying. Let's go to the group that's at the back. The girl who has their hands up, thank you.
Solvent.
All right, solvent, good try. Thank you.
Saturated solution.
Hands up if you went for his answer as saturated solution. Very good, hands down. That is correct. If you find that no more solute will dissolve in a particular amount of liquid and you see the remains in that liquid, that is called a saturated solution. Right? So I have a saturated solution of copper sulfate and sodium chloride. Okay, receiving teachers, I hope you have also prepared saturated solutions of copper sulfate and sodium chloride. Now class, how can I grow crystals or make crystals out of these two solutions? Have you any idea? Using these two solutions, we want to grow crystals. How are you going to do that? Michelle?
By heating them. By heating them like in slow evaporation or fast evaporation.
Anybody has any other ideas on how we can make crystals out of these two solutions, sodium chloride and copper sulfate? Or do you all agree with her? Okay, you are very smart, some of us. Receiving students, I hope you have the same answer as Michelle. But I will not say this is right or wrong. We will now go on to our activity to confirm what Michelle has said about heating the two solutions to make crystals. Now, in front of you, model class and the receiving students, we have these materials that you need to use in order to grow your crystals. Right, receiving teachers and the students, the model class have the following materials in front of them. A banner. Okay, we have the banner. You should have a banner. A tripod stand. Hand lenses. Evaporating dish. A beaker. We are using another beaker because we don't have enough evaporating dish. For receiving students and teachers, if you have a jar, a glass jar, you can use that to carry out this experiment today. Then we have the class, what is this called? Class? What is this called? What is this equipment or apparatus called? Okay, this is a gauge where you place over the tripod stand. And last of all, you should have two solutions in front of you, which is a copper sulfate solution. Here we have them in the test tube and a sodium chloride solution. Okay, class, these are test tube racks. Okay, what we have, the test tube holders, you can say test tube holders or test tube racks, right? So it is so important that we all should know or learn the names of the different equipments. All right, let's go on to the first activity instruction. Class, group leaders, please control the group and make sure that everybody has the chance to do the experiment, and also take care. We are going to be using heat again, so everybody should be taking extra care. Your table should be free of any books or papers. Put them on the side. One more equipment that I missed out, you should also have 2 glass slides. All right, so clear your tables, class, and let's see what we should do for the first activity. Okay, let me have someone to read activity 1 instruction. Yowa, please read to us the instruction for activity 1.
Use a pipette dropper. Add 4 drops of sodium chloride solution into the evaporating.
All right, good correction there. Use a pipette or a dropper. In front of you, you will see the pipette there or the dropper. For the receiving schools, if you don't have a dropper or a pipette, you can use a spoon, okay, a teaspoon. Then you add 4 drops of sodium chloride solution into the evaporating dish. So you will use the glass jar, okay? The evaporating dish will be left for the copper sulfate solution. So do that now, please. One person in the group, use the pipette and add 4 drops of sodium chloride solution into the evaporating dish or the jar. Use the jar or the beaker. Sodium chloride is the salt solution. Okay? You will use the beaker to add that 4 drops into the beaker. Yes, good. All right, we will use the beaker, the sodium chloride, which is the salt, not the copper sulfate. No, instruction 1 says leave that. And did you do that for the salt? Yes, all right, okay. Now you set your banner, set your things for banner. All right, did we add 4 drops of sodium chloride solution into the beaker? The beaker, you get the pipette.
No what dish.
Sorry, you are going to use the beaker, and then later on we will use the lid. Okay, quickly do that. All right, once you have done that, you set up your heater, meaning put the tripod stand. The tripod stand, put the gauge and the banner at the bottom. All right, once you have done that, you are going to light the banner and you will hit the sodium chloride solution in the beaker. Okay. Put the beaker on the gauge, place it over. Okay, and I want you to observe Okay, everyone should now have their beakers over the heater, or you should now be heating the sodium chloride solution. No? All right, once you see that all the liquid has evaporated, you stop heating the jar. Okay, once you know that it stops, all the liquid has evaporated, you stop heating the beaker. Pull out the burner and place the cap over it if you have seen that all the liquid has evaporated. Do not continue to heat the beaker when you see that all the liquid has evaporated. Now, once you have done that, listen, use the cloth to remove the beaker, and every member of the group will have the chance of observing the crystals using the hand lens. Do not observe, you wait until it has evaporated. All right, pass it around, pass the beaker around for everyone to have the chance of observing the crystal in there. We said 4 drops of sodium chloride. Did you put 4? Doesn't look as if it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of your solution should be left in the test tube. All right. Where is your evaporating dish? Okay, good. Pass it around. Right, receiving students, if you have not carried out this experiment, you can observe from the model class. Use the cloth, remove it. Use the cloth and remove the jar. Place it in front of the person who's observing, then you move on. All right, once everyone has observed the sodium chloride crystal, the group members who are waiting and who have already observed the sodium chloride crystal, you will now carry on with the copper sulfate solution. This time, I do not want you to mix the pipettes. The sodium chloride pipette, leave it as it is. You will now do the same for copper sulfate solution. You add 4 drops into the white evaporating dish. That is for the model class. Okay, put it on the tray. All right, did we add copper sulfate 4 drops? That's it, okay. You wait for place your burner and put it over the tripod stand, yeah. And while we are waiting, we should be observing. Remember, you can move the lens, but not your head. Yeah, you can put your head steady, but the lens has to go up. maybe light our banner. That's good. Remember, once all the liquid has evaporated, you stop heating the evaporating dish. Sorry. Already? All right. For those of us who have finished, you have your worksheet there. Your worksheet book. Turn to the page where your questions are and quickly go through the questions of the activity that you have just carried out. Okay. I hope everyone has observed both crystals, that is the sodium chloride crystal and the copper sulfate crystal. Receiving students, if you haven't carried out the experiment, I know you have watched the model class. There are 2 questions for you on the monitor to answer that refers to the activity that you have just carried out. Right, question 1 reads, you describe the sizes and the shapes of sodium chloride and copper sulfate crystals. Okay, this activity we made crystals using fast evaporation, meaning we used heat to evaporate the solutions quickly to see the crystals. So you describe the sizes of those 2 crystals and their shapes. Then you go on to sketching or drawing the crystals. You can write in your worksheet books, or if you prefer to write in your exercise book, you can do so. Don't write the question down. The question is there for you on your worksheet. What you have to do is only answer. In your own words, you describe the size and the shapes, and then you go on to sketching, meaning you don't have to be very accurate. Use your pencil and draw the crystal. Alright, let me see how many of us are now on the sketching part of the activity. 2. Good, only 1. right, last 1 minute for those of us who are still working. All right, class, let's hear from some of us now. Sodium chloride crystal. Can someone please quickly give us a brief description of that crystal that you have just grew using fast evaporation? Receiving students, tell your teacher. Anyone ready? Okay, let's have someone from this group here. Come on. Okay, don't be afraid of making mistakes. We all are learning from our mistakes. We will learn from each other's mistakes. Quickly, let's have someone in here. A volunteer from that group? Thank you. Class, pay attention to what our friend will be giving to us.
The
Sodium.
chloride has changed into solid form.
Right, good. Thank you for describing the process. Then, what did you write about its size and shape? Can you describe the size and the shape? Is it big or small or what? Is it round or cubical? Diamond in shape? Come on. 80s. Thank you. Our friend will help you. Thank you for that first answer.
The size of the sodium chloride after evaporating is big and the shape is round.
All right, good. She says it's round and big. Do you agree as being big? All right. It should have been, because you use the hand lens, you see that it's big, but without the hand lens, it would be very small. So you should say small in size. And what about the shape? Can we say it's round? All right, it's flat. Yes, flat. And also you can say it's square in size or cubical in size. If you observe the crystal very carefully, you will find that. Right, someone to sketch the sodium chloride crystal. Someone sitting right here next to the whiteboard. We'll have Lisa. Lisa, if you have already sketched the shape of the sodium chloride, please come up and sketch or draw the shape of it. Okay, a single crystal. All right, thank you, Lisa. Not bad. I know you all have the same sketches as Hess. That's good. Give yourself a good tick. Now, copper sulfate, I didn't say clap tick. Copper sulfate, you will also describe it as the shape is, can we say it is small in size? Yes, and what do you think about its shape, Diana?
Round and flat.
Okay, round and flat. And did you also realize that the crystals looked a bit glacier? If you have observed carefully, you would see that the surface is very smooth and the edges are also sharp and they look glassier. All right, for activity two, receiving students and the model class, the group leader along is going to carry that experiment out. It's not a long one, very simple. This is what you will do. You have 2 glass slides on the table. You will do the same again. You will put a drop of sodium chloride crystal on one of the slide and a drop of copper sulfate solution onto another slide. And you will do that straight after the lesson, because we are running short of time, so we won't carry on with the second activity. That activity will be done after the lesson. Okay, let's go back to what Michelle has given us earlier on in the lesson. To grow crystals, we use, what did we use? Heat, all right? We used heat to grow crystals by evaporating the solutions. And that evaporation was done fast and not slowly. Now, class, we will go on to our summary for today's lesson. Small crystals are formed using fast evaporation. Please copy that down quickly into your exercise book. What are the names of those crystals? Copper sulfate and sodium chloride. Your second activity is on slow evaporation, meaning you are going to leave that solution for over a week, and then we will observe at the end of the week how big the crystals have grown. So the glass slides that you have will be left there for how many weeks? 1 week. And what type of evaporation are we using? Slow evaporation. Good. Now class, your homework, at the back of your worksheet books, you will find something of this sort, or this picture here. At the back of your worksheet book, receiving students, you will have figure A and figure B. All right, these 2 sheets are stapled onto your worksheet book. This is what I want you to do later on, not now. You carefully remove the staples at the back. Carefully remove them and remove these 2 sheets out. Remove them out and you place the green cover back, the back cover, and you put the staples back. Okay? Remove them. You should have 4 sheets, meaning 2 figure A and 2 figure B. Right, but in your worksheet you have only 2. So I am going to give you another 2. Right, this is what you are going to do. You are going to choose 2 colors. Select one color to color the small ions, and the other one to color the big circles. Okay. Now, looking up here, I have selected 2 colors. And that is red and yellow. So your homework, you are to select 2 colors and color the big circles with the same color and the small circles with the same color. Okay, this is figure A, right? You will do the same for figure B. Right? So that is your homework. And I want you also to look up this word in the dictionary. I want you to look up this word ion. Okay, because in our next activity we are going to use these sheets to do our activity. All right, is that clear? All right, class, our keyword for today, crystals. Thank you, class, for your cooperation and participation today.